I grew up when the first Walmart opened in my home state of Maine. Walmart literally killed all the local groceries, electronic store suppliers, and even a lot of farmers markets. Now there's Target and Walmart, basically nothing else. Yeah, this is the reason why, like, right now you couldn't do a $20 an hour minimum wage in, like, middle America, but you could if it wasn't for that damage. Because wages used to be proportionally higher in those communities than they are now, even though they were paying more for their stuff because they didn't have, like, the economy of scale with Walmart. They kept it in. Like, it stayed in the community. It's difficult to explain because a lot of you guys, even I can't, it's difficult to understand, but it used to be, man, when you wanted to get a job, like, in a lot of small towns, you would go to the local town square and there would be a guy who ran a restaurant there who your parents have known for 35 years. And he would go, you know, like, you're finally old enough to work, huh? Yeah, here you go. Throw you a rag and you get on it. That sounds like a stereotype. That sounds like a joke. Like, oh, right, okay, that's our imagined... No, that actually kind of did happen. There's a reason that we associate that era with that. And it's just because it hadn't been subjected to this, like, race to the bottom, like, like hyper, efficiency, drain the wealth bullshit that we've seen today. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Okay, Vaush, but a lot of those places were sustained by anchor businesses like factories. Well, that's the Rust Belt. That's not so much small town thing. That's like the Rust Belt. That's a separate issue, yeah. That's manufacturing moving out. But these things can be solved, right? Like, all the money is here. Not only is all the money here, more money is here than ever before. The total amount of economic activity that's running through this country is so high. Everyone could live like a king. Huey Long, every man a king, every woman a king, no queens. All right? That's gay. We could have that. But it's not just a matter of the wages you get. It's also where the money goes. That's the important part. When money stays in a local community, it circulates in a local community, and that keeps a local community healthy. It's just a localized form of colonialism. The entire history of economics has been a process of colonialism. Primitive accumulation at first, where you invade with armies and you enslave entire races of people and you have them mine up the diamonds, or they get the rubber trees or whatever, they get the cocoa, they get the tobacco. And then you have neocolonialism, where we just use our economic power to force other countries into being subservient to our business interests. But even locally, this happens. This is one of the reasons why you can buy a house for $5 in a blowjob in, like, a good portion of Kansas. But also, there's no work there. And then if you move to the city to find work, and there is work in the cities, mind you, the rent's also $4,000. It's completely fucked up. The money's in the wrong place, and this can be fixed. Not easily. It's a difficult process. It's not simple, and I'm not economically educated enough to have, like, a specific set of policies on how to fix this. But I've seen educated people talk about this tendency and how it could be fixed, and I know things can fix it. It just takes a bit of elbow grease. It can be done, and it's worth fighting for. The death of middle America, man. It's not just middle America. It's, like, all over America, right? But middle America, it's, yeah. I lived in a small town in West Virginia that was exactly this only 20 to 30 years ago. Small town square and cute downtown that used to be filled with local businesses that were all for rent by the time I lived there. Yep. Everyone talked about how this town used to be so much better, and it was exactly like you said. Everyone knew each other and shopped from each other and employed each other's kids when they got old enough to work. It was really sad. This is, unironically, this is what they took from you, okay? I am playing that the song that song, all right? This is a VHS tape. There's VHS static and magnetic interference that's playing. We're returning to tradition. Yeah, the Little Dark Age. Yeah, we're playing Little Dark Age right now. Return to fucking tradition. And by return to tradition, I mean have a local fucking town square where your parents know the people. Like, it's so sad. And a lot of people are leaving. Because why wouldn't they? Like, why would you stay in a town like that? It's like this. It's this. Photos like this, man. Look at this. When this town was built, it was going on the up and up. Look at this. Look at what I'm looking at right now. I want you to really think for a second, okay? What are some things you notice? This is a small town. What do you notice? You know what I notice? Brick. Brick pavement, pathing. That's not cheap. Nice old-fashioned street lamp? Wide sidewalks? Look at this. This says apothecary right here. Brick and mortar stores, nice ones. Probably used to be owned by families. But these areas are dead now. They're dead. They're completely dead. Yeah, stores that were beautiful and enjoyable and distinct. Stores that had character. Stores that meant something to the people who worked and lived there, not just interchangeable franchises. And now they're all dead and dying. It's all gone now, and it's not coming back. You can't just rebuild all of this. The economic processes, that's not how it works. You can't revive this. You can build something better. You can build something new, but this can't come back. Killed by cars. Cars is part of it, but a lot of these small towns were built during the heyday of the interstate highway project. So what I'm looking at right here, this is still car infrastructure, to be clear. But I want you to imagine, okay? I'm going to sound like a lunatic for a bit, but I need you to understand, okay? Look at this. I want you to imagine, all right? You're 18. You just graduated high school, all right? Now, your family's well off enough that you didn't have to work through high school, but it's probably time you got a job. Where do you get a job? Well, nowadays what you do is you would walk from door to door and get 1,000 little resume fill-out sheets to whatever the fuck, okay? But here, your parents know by first name a ton of the people who work at your local commercial district. You can go down there and you can just talk to people. You can talk to people who you know. I'm not saying this era was good, by the way. This was during segregation, and also they were not given, like, proper worker protections in a lot of cases. I'm not saying the era was good. I'm saying this element of the era, that personability was good. Sorry, online forms. That's right. It's online forms nowadays. Even back when I was in high school, you would go, even when I graduated 2011, which means that I went to work in 2009 or 2010 maybe. And back in those days, you could do it online, but in a lot of places, you could just go door to door asking for forms. Nowadays, I guess not. That was only a decade ago, a little more than a decade ago. I still remember how depressing that was, though. And, you know, I'm speaking from experience here because because the place where I failed to find work for 6 months was in Humboldt. When I graduated from university, I could not find work in Humboldt County. I didn't have a car, and it's all really spread out, you know, so it took me so long to find a job that I tried streaming. And, you know, you see how that worked out. The Arcata Plaza is still quite nice, and it's kept afloat by the students who come to the university. So this place still has a decent amount of economic activity, but it's artificial. The people who live in Arcata and Eureka, the sister city just a little bit to the south, are not doing good economically. This place has a little bit more money coming in just because of the tide of students, but it doesn't represent the actual longevity of the community. It's not people who are there. It's people who bring money in. You know, yeah. Yeah, it's extracting wealth, not much wealth, but some wealth from the places the students come from. They do some nice stuff there. The area also has the feel of a nice, like you can see, that's McKinley. He's one of the founders of the area. He probably killed like 5 billion native people, so don't like him. But, you know, people still come out down here to the you know, the place, the drive down quite often. There's a lot of really good places to eat here, too. Eureka's even worse. I guess they have a decent amount of traffic. Eureka is about 60,000 people, though, so it's not like a small town. They have some nice stuff there. You can always tell when you're in the Old Town District. Have you ever noticed that, by the way? Why do you think they call them Old Town Districts? You can find them in basically every city, every town. They call them Old Town Districts because they were the buildings that were built in the town center back when the town had the money and drive to have a unique personality. And now it's called the Old Town area because the only place you can actually get work is like the sparse office buildings that have been built in some other section of the town. And it's old because it's dying. Yeah, different zoning laws push people around, yeah. Also worth noting, by the way, not to permit or give any allowance to the kind of stuff that they've said. However, there is a deeply fascist character to many of the towns that I'm talking about that have died because they are literally doing the, like, reject modernity return thing. I'm not saying it's all economic insecurity. I'm saying it's a lot of white people in like the Midwest or areas that are economically deprived that live in small regional historically segregated communities that have grew up on stories about the wealth and prosperity of America and their local town, but live in this like dying, like hollowed out husk. And as a result of that, they're very susceptible to propaganda about how it's being done by immigrants or neoliberalism or global. Well, hold on, neoliberalism is doing it, but or globalism or the Jews or whatever else. Yeah, they're very susceptible to that, and they are racist. Yes, a lot of them are racist. A lot of these towns were literally built up in the 40s and 50s when the country was still segregated, and because redlining kept a lot of people out, or at the very least, kind of like, generally prohibited people from moving in there. Like now in a world where people can kind of move where they want, there's no reason to move there because they're all dying. So, yeah.